G'day, what's up world? Today, it's me, Andy. This is Andy's Small Journeys, and this is where we're going. Da, 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 da. The old Treasury building in Melbourne. Let's see what it's like inside. The Victorian... whatever. The And here I am in the heart of Melbourne town, doing a little thing I've been calling over the years, Melbourne Revealed. And today, well, we're going to look at the old Treasury building. So folks, we're on Spring Street. Just here is an exit for Parliament Station. Okay, just up here we have Bourke Street, I think, or Little Bourke Street. Up here, this is the Victorian State Parliament. We've got a little park over there. And just here, this is the said Treasury building that we are visiting today. So we're just going to mosey on across the road, try not to get run over. So Parliament Station is great because pretty much all the lines, almost all the lines, go through Parliament Station. And of course, there are trams everywhere as well. So transport in the centre of Melbourne is actually pretty good. And also trams in the city centre you don't even have to pay for. What can we say about this building that we're about to enter? Firstly, it's free to enter, yes. There's a little museum in there. It dates back to 1858. They started construction and it was completed, I think, in 1862, 1864, I'm not sure, around about that time. And then a bit later, they did some more stuff to the interior. Mid-19th century means it was the gold rush here in Australia and especially Victoria. And the old Treasury building has gold vaults. So I think we get to go and see them, and that sounds pretty exciting to me. Here we have a statue erected to the honourable memory of Charles George Gordon, who apparently died in Khartoum in 1885. I have tried to do my duty. So, here you go. No, I don't know anything about him. I'm sorry. But as you can see, we're in the administrative heart of Melbourne. And it's actually quite an attractive part of Melbourne. You'll see a lot of... You'll see here's the Windsor Hotel, which is a very famous... Sorry, the Hotel Windsor, a very famous hotel here in Melbourne. And this again is another one of those mid-19th century buildings, as I think is the State Parliament and the Treasury building. But also, you have to love a good fountain. And this little park I'm talking about, it's called Gordon Reserve. But folks, we don't want to dilly-dally, do we, Sally? So, we're going to go right over there and check out this old Treasury building. Free! Did I mention it's free? Okay folks, well, the building itself. But it's not just a museum. It's not just the old Treasury building. Would you like to get married here? Why not? The Victorian Marriage Registry. Ooh. As you can see, this style of building is juxtaposed across the road from these skyscrapers. And this here is one of Melbourne's main streets, Collins Street. Am I procrastinating? Am I scared by what I might find in here? No. Interesting. So here we are in the building. This is the entrance here, and we can go this way and that way. This building was designed by John James Clarke, who came over from Liverpool He designed this when he was 19 years old, and it was built because between 1853 and 1857 the gold rush was going full tilt, and they needed somewhere to store the gold. By the time it was finished, it was 1862, and the gold rush was all but over. John James Clarke actually designed a lot of buildings in Melbourne town, including the Queen Vic. Anyway, let's see what they've got. Over here we have an exhibit, so we'll start here. Actually, I've got a little bit of a brief history there from Julie, who's a lovely volunteer here in the entrance hall. Very friendly. I said I was doing a vlog. Nobody had an issue. So here we've got an exhibit about football, introduction of the car, no doubt. Oh. And folks, the toilet, no doubt one of the greatest inventions of the 19th century. So I think we're about inventions. I think this is about inventions. Just a very little small exhibit here, but look at this. These units weren't actually that uncommon, and they combine a radio with a record player and of course a TV. I just wasn't expecting it to be a colour TV. So it seems like a sort of a 60s sort of thing, but we didn't have colour in Australia until 1975. How's that for a TV? So the 1850s was really the peak of the gold boom, and even though gold wasn't found in Melbourne, you're looking at Ballarat, about an hour and a half away from Melbourne these days. Melbourne grew because of the gold boom, because it was close, so, and thus did the state of Victoria. Fun facts. This city of Melbourne actually came into being around 1835. Free settlers came down to Port Phillip, where they were declared trespassers after they made a treaty with the Aboriginal people who lived here. But eventually they prevailed, and thus Melbourne was born. This is the city in 1882, and there we are. Over here we can see a development, electric street lighting in 1894. This is the Yarra River, Princess Bridge. This is the Princess Bridge, which is probably the most well-known bridge in Melbourne. This room here seems to be devoted to the Yarra River, which is, if you don't know, and if I haven't mentioned it, the main river that doth flow through Melbourne. They're saying, taming the river. Over here, polluting, drinking the water, polluting the river. And it's certainly regarded as a reasonably polluted river, or at least it has been in the past, with its beautiful brown waters. This room here is devoted to the first peoples of this region, that is, the people of the Kulin Nation. history of women here in Melbourne, particularly World War II. Melbourne has always been a city where protests happen, where people stand up for their rights. And that's definitely a good thing. For those who are not Australian who are watching this, there's a debate raging right now about changing the date of Australia Day, the day that we celebrate the country, which is tied to the colonial past, and the disenfranchisement of Indigenous Australians. Late 1960s, early 1970s saw Australia sending troops to Vietnam. Here's a protest on that. So this whole section is about protest. Melbourne has often been a centre for protest here in Australia, which is a good thing, I think. We've seen the exhibitions, but I think this is what attracts you when you don't know anything about this building, and that is the Gold Vault, and that's where we're going now. These rooms, below Spring Street level, but equal to the level outside on the other side, were actually occupied in the 1920s by a family, the Maynards. This room is dedicated to the First Nations people, Indigenous people during the Gold Rush. It's a depiction here from 1852. What we have here is a nugget of gold known as the Welcome Stranger. This, of course, is a replica. It's not the real thing. Would you believe 71 kilo, 2,302 ounces for anyone that makes sense to. It was found only 3 centimetres below the surface in 1869. Here in this room we have depicted the flag of the Southern Cross, which people united under back in the 1850s when the miners were not getting fair recompense for their work. It was the closest thing we had, they say, to a civil war. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but they united under the flag of the Southern Cross. Some people believe today that it could be, maybe should be, a national flag. Anyway, you can find out more about the Eureka Stockade in Ballarat, I believe, because that's where it happened. But yeah, Victorian history for you folks. Okay. Here they've done a little comparison, then and now, or now and then if you go from top to bottom. If you take one thing away from this place, it is that Melbourne as a city was really built on thanks to the gold rush in Victoria. If you do need an all-gender toilet or shower, they have it here. Oh, see, this is actually kind of cool, isn't it? It's not an exhibit at all, but it is a bit spooky. Folks, we're just about there. The legacy of gold. Crikey. Here we go. Is it real? Is it a replica? You wouldn't think it'd be real, would you? I think you can walk on it. Oh my god. I'm walking on gold. Yeah, I'm dancing on gold. Such is the quality content you've come to expect on my channel. Folks, I think we've explored the old Treasury building. But look, there's an old rickety lift to take us back to the top floor. Actually, it just looks like a normal lift. On the top floors, they do run departments and stuff still, but we don't have access to that. Seems a bit unfair. But apparently even the Victorian government comes here sometimes. I don't know.
Ground floor.
I don't know. What do you want from me? Crikey. And just like that, we're back in Melbourne town. Well, okay, let's be honest, we never really left. Folks, the old Treasury building here in Melbourne town. It's free. So why wouldn't you visit if you were here? It's an historic building, it's interesting. You learn a bit about the city. I was actually quite impressed. I mean, not that I didn't expect that I would be, but I'm 48 years old and I haven't visited this place before. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this little adventure into the building behind me. Don't forget to click like, comment and subscribe. It helps the channel to grow. I really appreciate it. And if you hit that little bell thing, apparently you get notifications. I don't know. You know, every bloody video you see on YouTube says this stuff, but I feel obligated to say it these days as a lot of people told me I should be saying it. Anyway, thank you for joining me again. Take care wherever you are in the world. May the journey never end.